Yep. Very good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the session. So I welcome you all to this fresh day. Uh, After 2 days, we have actually started once again our sessions. I hope you people have enjoyed a lot this week, and I am really happy that you people have I can say practicing. You people are really practicing. I saw you people's effort. Some of you have called me and messaged me regarding the requirements. I hope that the requirements that you requested, that I think I fulfilled, right? So still there are some people who is still having some confusion and all. So don't get confused with respect to anything, and if you have any query with respect to anything, it is my humble request. Call me once again. I'll be there to I'll be there to help you out. Okay. So once again, I welcome you all to the session. Let's start up the session. So in a previous session, we have successfully created some of the services, right? So Miro. So we have successfully set up our Azure Sentinel. Azure Sentinel successfully did. We have installed everything with respect to Azure Sentinel. Now it's time to understand and set up our integrations. So, and even the user interface also that we have understood. We have 4 areas, that is, GTCC, general management. The second is threat management. The third is, content management. And the fourth is configuration management, or we can say setting, configuration management. Okay. So we have a general management is an older version of UI. In a newer version of UI, that is into the XDR. As I said, when you have enabled Sentinel, you will enable a tab in XDR. There you again, these three things are same. TCC are same, but instead of general settings, we have a advanced hunting. Okay, advanced hunting. And our in the threat management, we have something known as incident and alerts. That has changed into a special tab, incident and alerts. So we have two new added, rest all the same. Threat management, content management, and configuration management is remains same. Okay. So rest everything is just two things have been added into a new tab. One is incident alerts, because this is a common area where everyone used to get connects, right? Everyone used to get connects. So that's the reason incident and alerts are the place where generally you can see the in a new tab. It's not in a into a threat management, because in XDR we have so many other devices, so many other services also get connected. So there also the incident alerts come. So they made is a common tab. So incident alert is a common tab. Similarly, advanced hunting also a common tab for all the services, that may be XDR, you may be defender for endpoint, defender for cloud, defender for that, defender for this. Okay. So there are more than 7+ different services, defender services are there. So if you add any of the services, so their data will also come, right? So those data will come also into your incident and alerts area. Okay. So now We understood the older version of UI, we understood the newer version of UI. So we configure everything in portal.azure.com, right? We install and we enable Azure in portal.azure.com. Am I right? Am I right or wrong? Guys, are you there? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we configure, we deploy our activity in portal.azure.com. Am I right? Yes. So, and how we are going to utilize that in a newer version of UI, that is in your newer version of your XDR, where we are going to use this particular tool fully. Okay. So, what is the principle? What is the principle of Azure Sentinel? Azure Sentinel, what is the principle? On which principle it works?
CDIR.
Huh?
CDIR.
Single?
CDIR.
Yeah, CDIR, yes.
Collect, detect.
CDIR. Collect, detect, investigate, and finally
Response.
respond. Okay. So we have collect, detect, investigate, and response options that you know. So now what is our first concern? Collection, right? Now to do the collection, now we will discuss what is mean by collection. So you have various services, right? As I discussed earlier also, we have various services in the cyber security environment. Am I right? Cyber security environment. We have various services like data services, data security services, right? In general, network services and network security services, right? So we have data security, network and network security. Now, what is our prime concern? Our prime concern is to you know forward this data security, network security logs to Azure Sentinel. Okay. So now question comes, what are the data services? What are the data security services? What are the network services? What are the network security services? We discussed already. So like AD, DNS, web, DB, all these under your data security like EDR, antivirus, drive solutions, backup services, all are your data security. Network like router, switch, hub, all those are your network services. Security services like IPS, IDS, firewall. What else? UD threat management, NDR, network detection and response. Like, so you want to collect and forward the logs of these Active Directory logs to Sentinel, DNS logs to Sentinel, web servers logs to Sentinel, database logs to Sentinel, application server logs to Sentinel, like EDR logs, AV logs, drive logs, backup logs. Like there are more than around 100 different type of services generally we used to see in a network, and you want to forward these logs, and also you want to forward, let's say, Windows logs, Linux endpoint logs. You want to forward all these things, right? So now what is the forwarding mechanism? This is known as collection of the first step. That is what? Collection of logs from various data connectors, from we can say data sources. So how can we forward? So we have something known as a data source. First we define a data source. Who is the data source? Who is the data source, and how we forward the data from here to Sentinel, that is Where in Sentinel, where we used to forward? What is the first step where the locks will come?
La.
Yes, it comes to law actually. Okay. So data source, let's say I want to take an example as it is a Microsoft Sentinel. I'll focus more of Microsoft, majorly Microsoft. Not only it's not mandatory, but still I'm telling. Let's start with a internal Active Directory. So we have an enter ID, right? I want to forward the logs of enter ID. Is it possible? Yes, possible. For that, I will. This is my what data source. Okay. So this is what is my example. I'll take a data source. I have an enter ID where I created user groups, group, right? User and user groups I created, and there are so many permissions. We can modify the password, we can delete the password, we can log in with the password of enter ID, right? So the transaction logs of enter ID, I want to forward to Sentinel. Can I? Yes, because this is also Microsoft, this is also Microsoft. This is created for Microsoft only majorly. So you can forward the logs of enter ID logs to Sentinel. Now there is an activity, right? We are creating groups, resource and resource groups. And in the resource group also we created VM, we created Sentinel law, we created so many things, right? If you are going to create anything, so we need to see the resource activity, how the resource is working, how many times I switched on the VM, how many times I delete the VM, how many times I added some services into my resources. So to forward the resources activity, what is happening in the resources activity, because we have resource and resource groups, right? Resource and resource groups. Am I right or wrong? We have resource and resource group. I want to forward the activity of resource group. So there is a one service called Azure activity. What is that? Azure activity is responsible. It will actually monitor which service? Azure activity services, which monitors the resource activity, like who is creating resource, who is modifying resource, who is adding some resources in the resource group, who is deleting resources in the resource group, is there any permissions changes on the resource? Because we used to give permissions, right? Someone is a owner, someone is a this kind of stuff. So we can do all such things, and we can, once we create such kind of stuff, we can also forward this. So this is another data connector. So one data connector is enter ID. The second data connector, sorry, data source is, it's not data connector, it is data source, right? From where we can collect the logs. So we call it as a data source. This is another data source. So I can forward the same logs to law, right? I can forward like this. I can forward enter ID logs to law. Actually, this is the logically I am forwarding to who? Law. From law, it is actually forwarding to this area, right? It is going like this. So where I am forwarding my logs? From enter ID, I am forwarding to law. From Azure activity, I am forwarding to law, right? So now, like this, I can also forward different data sources. Example, I can say, I can forward one Windows machine. One Windows machine, which is considered to be very important. And I can also forward Linux machine. And also I can forward my Windows on-premises machine, my computer. I can also forward my Linux computer machines. This is local machines. Local machine. This is, let's say, Azure portal VMs. Let's say we created one VM in the Azure portal, right? Like I can create one portal. I can create in the VM. We created one portal, right? Where we have added our VM. In the resources, we created one VM, right? Similarly, we have a local, let's see, this is my Windows machine. This is my Windows machine. And inside my, you can see this is my workstation there where I have so many other machines are there. Let's say I want to forward this Ubuntu server. Let's say there is an Ubuntu server is there, right? So I want to forward this logs to my Azure portal. Yes, it is possible. We can forward. Now, how can we forward? This is known as Ubuntu local machines, right? These are on-premises machine, my computers. These are my computers. So I want to forward via internet. So I will use, there is something called agents. So for the local machines, what I'll use agents. Call a Azure agent service. Okay, we will use Azure agents, which will actually forward the logs to your again log. Okay, so now we have various entities. We have enter ID, we can forward. We can Azure activity, as these are internal bodies, because enter ID within the portal, right? Within the portal.if.in. See, when I type portal.if.in, you can see I have an enter ID in the portal itself. I have a sentinel on the portal itself, which is a it is considered to be internal systems, Azure internal systems, right? So I don't have any problem for forwarding the Azure internal system to Microsoft Sentinel. It will become very easy. Similarly, Azure activity. So we have so many resource groups. We have so many resource group. Let's say I'll show you. Resource groups. When I see in every area, when I click any of the, let's say this is one of the resource group. So there's a monitoring is happening. See, monitoring. Dashboard, it is monitoring. FFF group, there is a monitoring. For every area, there is a monitoring, right? And every activity log is happening. See, you see it is getting monitored and there is an activity log is getting created. So for this mission, you can see all the monitoring logs. So it is showing only for last 6 hours. So if I change my time for, let's say, last 2024, let's say from 2024, if I see, let's say first 2024, okay, you cannot see more than 90 days. Last month, custom, there is no data, I hope. Not ready to. See, there is no data in last 30 days. But anyway, I will come to one or the other one, that is where SOCRG is there, right? You can see in the SOCRG. In the activity log, you can see there is a last month. When I say last month, there are so much data was activity was happening. It was happened so much of activities. You can see I created a virtual machine, I created deployed, I can validate, you can say there is some deallocate of virtual machine, check up backup status. I created so many activities, right? I created a workspace, I validated, I attached workspace to the Sentinel. Everything is actually that was getting on a activity log. But I don't want here, like I have so many resources groups, and every resource group has its own method of log collection, right? When I see there are so many resource groups, you can see, I'll show you, there's a GOV, SOE. When you see there is so much of activity in this particular environment, you can see. You check from the first. See, there are so many activities that happened during the last 3 months. See, there's so much of activity. This is an example. This isn't just an example, but there are so much of data was. Now I want to collect these logs. So if I want to see the logs in analytics, I can see from here. But the concern is this is only for one log source. Like there are so many resources, right? When you see the resources, there are different types, let's say 13. So I can't go to each resource group and I can simply collect the logs, right? Sorry, I can simply watch the logs. I cannot go to each, right? So what I will do, I will collect each and every machine logs to where? My Sentinel log collector, that is, so that I can collect, right? So what else? What is the other source? So I can collect the logs of Azure activity, that is resource group activity, that is I come to log, and those let it be 10 resource groups, let it be 1000 resource groups. I cannot go to each resource group. Rather than that, I'll simply collect at one location by using Azure activity. Okay. So what I will do, I will write a policy which will push to all my resource group. So where I will tell to each resource group, please forward your logs to log. So I will write a rule to all resource groups saying that please send your data to log. I'm sending a note. Now I'm sending a note saying that, so today onwards, you people are my slaves. You need to forward everyday activity to this log because you are under now this log analytic workspace. That is how we can give them a instruction. Similarly, as Azure enter ID is only one, right? Azure enter ID is only one. So when I go to my enter ID, there also the logs are there. When you see the monitoring, there's an audit log, there's a sign-in log, there's a provisioning log. So there are so many logs are there, right? As this is the only one, enter ID is only one, right? So whatever happening, it is happening at here only. So I will tell to enter ID separately, simply single one instruction to enter ID. Please do this. Who will tell? La will tell. La will tell to Azure activity. La will tell to enter ID. La will tell to Windows VM. La will tell to Linux VM. Who will tell? La will tell, because we are telling law is your boss now. Now you need to give all your logs, transaction activities to law. Then I will monitor from the Sentinel. Got it? How simple, right? See, let's say Sentinel is a king and law is a prime minister. So prime minister is directly giving instructions to each and every individual who wants to be under the part of this particular Sentinel. They must forward their logs. So if you are into my environment, you have to share your logs, transaction activities, application activities, security activities, all your activities. There is no excuse for you. So you have to forward all your logs to whom? Law. What is the law? Law is the log analytic workspace. So where you are telling all this, that is what? Collection area. So we need to configure this. Now collection is a place where we need to configure all these activities. Now how can we collect? So for this we have two things. So as soon as, now again, for every collection has its own mechanism, right? So there is something called, for every data sources, for every data source, there is a different data connector is there. What we have? For every data source, we have a different data connector, so that in this data connector, we will give the instructions. Okay. So when you are giving the instruction, data connector will be the mediator between the data source and the law. Okay. And law, you can see the data in your Sentinel. Okay. So this is what happening on the background. So this is the workflow. Data source will work as per the data connectors process. In the data connector, there will be proper instructions how you need to collect the logs from your data source and how you need to forward it to log analytic workspace. Further, in the log analytic workspace, you will write whatever the instructions that will, as per the law, it will behave the sentinel. Okay, so this is very clear. So now I want data connector. So let's say if it is an Entra ID, let's say it is Microsoft Entra ID. Now, how can I come to know what is my data connector? No worry. That's why we have one area called content management. So we have a Sentinel content management, or we call the Sentinel marketplace. Which one? It's not Microsoft Azure marketplace. It is Sentinel marketplace, where you will have so many data connectors in place. You will have a repository. What repository? Data connectors repository, logs repository. You have a plugin repository. You have a rules repository. We call it as Sentinel marketplace or a Sentinel repository. Where you have majorly three things. One is data connectors. The second is rules. The third is, playbooks. Majorly you required. Other than that, you will have a dashboards. So for every data connectors, you may find some rules, playbook, dashboards, and your reports and queries. So for every data connectors, you will have these kind of options. It's not mandatory in all the data connectors, but some of the data connectors have. You will be get rules, playbooks, dashboards, and reports along with that particular data connector. Sometimes only rules, playbooks, data connectors, and reports will be there. So as per the requirement, you can utilize that particular marketplace. Okay. So where you will see this is, you can see in a content management. In the content management area, you will find there is a content hub. We call it as content hub. In the content hub, you will have all these features you can download and you can install. So for Microsoft Entra ID, you will have a connector called Entra ID connector. For monitoring, Azure monitoring, you will have a Azure monitoring, Azure activity connector. Like if you want to integrate local VM, you will have a legacy data connector for Windows, legacy data connector for Linux, legacy data connector for VM, Azure VM data connector. Like you will have all the data connectors in place. Let's start with one data connector and we will start install the log. First we will install at least one data connector for the day. As it is 7:33, we can at least connect one data connector for the day. Tomorrow we'll see 2-3 data connector integrations. Okay. So now let's start with first data connector. That is first. This is a common, like what people used to do. People used to have a, I can say an Entra ID expertise, right? So like what people used to say, first win your home, then win the world. Win your home, then win the world. Similarly, first collect yourself. First collect yourself, then collect others' data. So this is what the rule of Sentinel. We can say first we will collect internal logs, then we'll go outside and we'll collect the logs of various other services. Okay. So let's start with the Microsoft Entra ID. So we have Entra ID. We have Entra ID. Where it is? It is there. So we have Sentinel. So in the Sentinel, if you go here, let's say I want to open, let's say other things I want to remove, which I don't want. Let's say test and Tesla is no more required, right? So what I'll do, I will delete the test and Tesla first, which are not required for me. Okay. Because it will make us irritate after a few days. Okay, where I have kept. Wait a while. I need to check in which group it is there. Yeah, it is there in the test. So I'm just deleting these two. Delete. See, there are two things. One is delete resource group, which will directly delete this. If I select and selecting delete, what it will do? It will delete only the respective content in the delete group. Okay. So it will get deleted, your test and security insights. It's deleted. Okay. So now what else we have? We have in the SOCRG, we have a test law is there, right? Tesla. So Tesla, this one. See the insecurity inside Tesla. So I don't want these to delete. Okay. Deleting. This is also got deleted. Now you can see in the Microsoft Sentinel, you will find only one law. See, Sentinel 0425 law. Okay. Now I'll select this simply. Now I can see when you click on this environment, what it is showing, it will simply saying that it has moved to where? It has moved to Defender portal. So I can work here by refreshing all the time, but it is not the right way. So rather than this, where I need to go? Where I need to go? Guna, your voice is not audible. Kalyan, where I need to go?
Dear.
Microsoft.security.com.
Yes, exactly. Security.microsoft.com. Security.microsoft.com. When I click on security.microsoft.com, it would automatically open my profile into this environment. Okay. So you can see I am with my same, see, Sentinel Azure admin 0225. This is the same one, right? 0225. So where I will go to, when I make it big, see, there is a Microsoft Sentinel is there. In the Sentinel, where I need to go? Content management, right? As I said, content management. First, I will click on content management and where? Content hub. When I click on the content hub, I will have so many solutions in the hub, which are not installed in status right now. See, 0 installed in status. Now, what I want? First one, Microsoft Entra ID integration, right? So I'll simply go to my Content Hub. I will type Entra ID simply. Entra ID. When I type Entra ID, I will get the Entra ID ready in place. Let's see. The first one comes, see, Microsoft Entra ID not installed. So what I need to do? I need to install this. That's it. I'll select. See, on the bottom, there's an option called install. See, when I select the other features, see, you can see these many features that you can see. These many features will also install. What are those? So you need not to worry. You can see here what are the things that you will get. 1 data connectors. Along with the 1 data connectors, you will get 73 rules, 11 playbooks, 2 workbooks. How beautiful it is, right? So you don't require to put so much of pressure to write a rule. You come here, data connector is providing 73 rules to you. You can enable whatever you want if you required out of this. So you don't require to put more pressure on your event of interest. That interest is also giving by your data connector only. So all you need to, as per your organization's requirement, you need to, what you need to do? You need to reconfigure. We need to reconfigure as per our organization requirement. That's it. Because as this Android is already providing a data connector, these many rules, these many playbooks, those many workbooks, what you need to do? Only you need to tweak that one, right? That's it. Once you tweak, it's more than sufficient. So what we need to do first, we need to install. And you can see it is free. You can see some of the, that means if we are coming here means some of the contents are not free, because it is clearly mentioned pricing is free. That means there are some services which are not free. Okay. You have to check before installing this particular content hub. You have to check whether it is free or not. If it is free, this is a good practice to install. Otherwise, you check the requirement. If it is required, then only you install it. Okay. Now we installed this. Let's say it is installed in progress. It takes some few minutes. Now, after the installation, we have to configure this. Installing, it's not mean that it will automatically go and start collecting the logs. We are installing it from our content hub. See, it is installed. One is installed. You can see it is installed in nature. Now my question is, I need to configure, then only it will start collecting the logs, right? I only installed. It's installation. It's not mean that how my Sentinel come to know who, what, in which this enter ID logs I need to collect. There are so many enter IDs. They have different enter IDs. Then how will you know which enter ID logs I need to collect? Sometimes I installed, but only I kept installed. I don't want to collect right away. Maybe I may collect after 10 days or 15 days or 1 month, right? So we need to configure that whether you want to collect the logs or not. You are installing, it's not mean that it's done. What we need to do, we need to tell that particular installed data connector saying that go and collect now. Now we need to give the instructions. Now how can we do that? We can do it from configuration. We need to configure that, right? We have installed from the content hub. We have done. Now the concern is we need to set that. So in the data connector, see, there's in the configuration, there is something called data connectors. You just click on the data connectors. Now you can see, close these three. See, there is a Entra ID. See, there is a Entra ID is there. It is showing green. That means it is not collecting anything now. If it is green, then only it is collecting something. If it is collection is started, then only it will show green. Otherwise, it will show gray. Now, as we have not given any instructions to this Entra ID, it is not collecting. It's only got installed and it's showing here, right? So now what I will do, I will click on this. Once I click, there's an option called Open Connector Page. I'll go to Open Connector Page. Now what I want, I need to tell, first it is asking me, do you have workspace settings or not? Yes, I have permissions. I have settings, read and write permission on Entra ID diagnostic settings. I am a global master or a security administrator. Yes, these three prerequisites completed. What I want, I need to collect the logs, right? Now I will tell, please collect sign-in logs. Please collect audit logs. See, I'm giving instructions, right? Please collect non-interactive logs, interactive logs, manage logs, provisioning logs, ADFS logs, risk user logs, risky logs. So like there are so many logs are there, I want to collect all the logs. Okay. So now, as soon as I apply changes, it is giving the instructions to all the log entities where it is there in your, Enter ID. These many logs are actually there. So it has given instructions to whom? It has given instructions to all the Enter ID log owners. See, there are so many logs are there. Sign-in logs, audit logs, provisioning logs, so many other locations. There are so many logs are there. Diagnostic logs. So everywhere there are so many logs are there. So each logs, it has been given instructions. Now onwards, where you need to forward. Yes, you will keep a copy here, but rather than this, where you need to forward, you need to also forward the logs to data connector, because I enable all these. I have given instructions. Now I passed. There's no excuse to you now. You cannot say no. Got it? So now you cannot say no to this particular log collection, because I given the instructions from the law, because I am the authority. I am the authoritative, because I am the prime minister here. Who is the prime minister? Sentinel. Internally, who is the prime minister? That is law. Sentinel is the king. He has given sign. Now you have installed the content hub. You created a policy saying that you are just need to collect data from Microsoft Entra ID. For that, you prepared, you went to content hub, you installed that. That means the law is created from the enter ID. Enter ID. You can see. The law is created. And also, which part of the area that I need to collect? See, that has been given in your configuration. And in the max of enter ID, you can see the page. And you have given instruction to the page. In this particular enter ID, start collecting logs from sign-in logs, this, all the, I selected all, I applied. So now means my Sentinel is ready to collect the logs from this particular enter ID. Got it? Now, consider these logs are now start collecting. When it will show the logs here. When it will show the logs. It takes time. It starts at least, it will take at least minimum 40 minutes to 24 hours to become green, and it will start showing the logs in your environment. Till the time the tables will be under process to click created, all those things starts. So right now when you click on it, right, there is no table. If you see, there is no table is ready. See, there is no table is ready. But after few 1 hour or 15 minutes or 1 hour or 2 hours, you can see there will be some table created. So what are those tables? Those tables are like sign-in logs, audit logs, non-interactive logs, principal logs, managed identity logs, provision logs, sign-in logs, again data risk log, risk. So these are the various. So as per the logs created, as per the logs generated, it will start create the tables here. And you can see all those tables in this area. The new tables and the, there used to be some common tables are already there. Other over and above. See, it is added, I think. See, AID sign in, AID sign in. See, you enter ID sign in events. It started. See, it started adding the things. Okay, there are some logs. Right now, it is asking me permission to connect tables. You can see to manage that you required some permission. So I'm just creating that only. No worry, it takes some time, it will come up. No worry, see the tables come up, right? You can able to see all the now tables. There are hundreds of tables are available. These are known as default table. Over and above, you can see security events, security incidents. There are, I will talk about various tables later, but you can see number of tables are 127, analytics tier 129, X default tiers 110. So likewise, it creates, see, workspace here, you can see the workspace under the Sentinel law, there are this one. So you can search for this. You can search a filter saying that you can say if I space like this, add a filter, table type, let's say Sentinel. You can see all the Sentinels. See, these are the workspace logs. So you have so many default tables. Okay. So you can come to know. It is very easy. It's very easy. You can see there are hundreds of tables are available. When you select, you can come to know the count. So you can check the table. So all those things that we will see later, but anyway. So where you can see the new logs will come into here, and the data connector. See, one is out of two, one is get connected, one is not yet. It is still taking time because the logs have not yet started. So what I will do to get the logs here, I will do some login failures so that it will come up fast. So let's say I'll go to the incognito portal.azure.com. So we created some users, right? So what are the users that we created? I think for Laksh, I created some user. Laksh SNTL 0225.onmicrosoft.com, right? I'll do some login failure, intentional login failure. So that it generates so many logs over there, right? Login failure logs. See, I did 4 login failures. In fact, I'll do multiple so that it will get logged out also after some time. See, I did so many login failures. Similarly, I will also create some users. So that is also activity of enter ID, right? So I'll create a user. Let's say I'll create a user called Naga. Naga, right? Display is, let's say, Naga. Let it go, review and create. Auto generator. That is get created. One user is created. Now I will create one more user. Let's say it's YGish. Review and create. See, this is also created. So we have did so many activities. Logs might come up, but it takes some time, as I said, right? It will take. It will not show right away. It will take some more time to show here because to get and collect the logs. Whew. I wanna see. You can see the logs. You can find some login failures over here. Let us see. The same thing that we can see in our Microsoft portal also. See, there are some login failures you found. See, 3 failures. Lux. Right? Similarly, I created some audit logs. In the audit logs, you can see user created, add user successful, right? So you can say one time user management, it's done. So what is the user and all? If you want to see, you can see that. But that is exclusively into the area that you can see. But on the major side, you can see the user creations. Now the same logs that you can see in your Microsoft Sentinel, no worry. Data connectors. It is not yet started the logs, but we require to wait for some more time, okay? The open connector area, as I said, minimum 1 hour, 40 to 50 minutes, it will come up here. No worry. It takes some time to it so that it will come up. As it is added, there we can see these things in a tomorrow session, because uh, it as it takes at least 1 hour of time. It will come after, first once it is get connected, then it will, the communication required to be start, it will take some time, okay? So this is the way you can connect your first connection. So the log started showing here in the, we will start getting the logs from here, but the same will be populated in this particular environment. So it takes some few seconds, I mean few minutes, something like a 1 hour kind of stuff. After that, once it is get connected successfully, then it will start showing you in a real time, okay? So this is the way you can first connect your Android logs to your data connector page, and it will only show the activated starts from today's, right? So it will start showing from today's data. It will not show previous data, yesterday's data and day before yesterday's, and it will not show. Only from today onwards, whatever the logs it is creating, right? Those logs only it will show into your environment. The previous logs it will not get collected. Okay, so this is all about for the day. We'll meet on tomorrow's session with a new data connection models, and there are multiple data connections that we are going to do tomorrow, at least 3, but we will try at least 3, sorry, at least 2, if not at least 2, total 3, if not 2. Okay, so guys, that's all for the day. We'll meet on tomorrow's session. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Sir,
Yeah, Varlakshmi.
sir, actually, I deployed Microsoft Sentinel on Friday.
Okay.
So it's showing some cost and subscription or billing section. So I will share my screen. Can you check once?
Yeah, please share it, your screen.
Good.
So she's having some issue. So let her. It's not coming.
Yeah. So actually, I am unable to sharing.
You request me, I will accept it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, really. Allah.
No,
If
sir.
you,
I am
it's okay.
unable to share.
Okay, we'll do tomorrow because I think there is some. I think the session is about to terminate by the team because there is another session right away. So we'll do that. Don't worry, Lakshmi. I will call you. I will
Okay.
text you. Don't worry. And further, whatever the problem, I will sort out. Don't worry. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. No worry about that. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much.